Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for December 16th, 2020. I'm the man they call Meathead, and joining me Wednesday mornings, as he does every Wednesday and Fridays, Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Meathead. December 16th. We are very close to Christmas.
Next week, Friday, it's Christmas.
Wow.
Have you been good or bad? Are you getting coal or are you getting actual gifts?
I'm good. I'm always good.
Do you celebrate Krampus?
Do I sound like I have a cold? Did you say am I getting a cold? No, I feel fine.
No. Do you celebrate Krampus?
I do not, but it's a movie I've been meaning to watch, actually.
So I know of Krampus before the movie from The League. Remember, it's that one show I keep bugging you to go watch. The Stone character dressed up in a Mr. McGiblet's costume and went on a Krampage as Krampus. Rah, bang, boom, blah. Worth checking out.
Fantastic. I'll have to watch it add it to my list. I've been trying to get in the seasonal spirit and watch some Christmas movies here recently, and watched Tangerine for the first time the other night.
Oh, not me. Trying to use up the rest of my Hulu because I don't want to pay for it again. Burning through Sons of Anarchy. We're somewhere in Ireland. We're in Belfast right now. We're burning through.
Oh, that's season 3, 4, 3, right?
3, yeah.
Belfast, yeah.
Yep, burning through that. I'm trying to rip through some League every once in a while. I finished up Scrubs. We're good. All right, but that's not what you guys...
The Sons of Anarchy, do they have a Christmas special? Was there a Christmas special?
No, but there is a Walking Dead Christmas special coming out this year.
Fantastic.
I wonder if they're going to put ornaments on the walkers. So let's talk about our sponsors, our friends over at manscaped.com. 20% off with the promo code PWR. And Dave had said yesterday morning that they got some sort of promo running over there as well. You might be able to stack your discounts. Get on over there to get the whole care package. Why are you waiting? If I was Dave Hero, I would say, ladies, smarten up your man. Tell him to clean that up. Now, for those of you that don't know, because this is an audio podcast, I am rocking the Sam Elliott right now. Movember's been over since December 1st, but I've kept it, Matthew. I've kept the rocking mustache.
How do you know what Sam Elliott's nether regions look like?
Not his nether regions. I'm talking about his mustache.
Oh.
I've kept it. I have no idea. He's the new mayor on Family Guy.
Sam Elliott's probably done some nudity at some point.
I don't want to know if he has. I mean, it's already close enough that I send out, happy birthday to people, and there's a picture of Burt Reynolds on like a bearskin rug.
Bearskin rug, nude.
Yeah. Facebook flagged me on that once.
Oh, man.
But here's the irony of that all, right? So I put out a happy birthday, to somebody, and they flagged me for inappropriate content. And then I shared a memory of it, and that didn't get flagged.
You just gotta outsmart the computer. That's what you got to do.
That's right. And then our friends over, speaking about never getting outsmarted, our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com, 10% off with PWR 360. Uncle Al is back at it again. If you've seen his timeline on Facebook, he's back cracking the jokes again. I literally steal a bunch of stuff from Al. So get on over to Facebook, look for Al Snow. And he's just killing it right now. His best one so far in the last couple weeks. He goes, during this pandemic, the fact that Hooters does not have a home delivery service called Knockers is a wasted business opportunity.
Now, when you said you steal a lot from Al, you mean in terms of jokes, like not like small appliances and stuff from his home, correct? Funnies. Yeah. Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, I don't actually steal from Uncle Al. I repurpose his jokes is what I do.
Well, that's what jokes are. Jokes are meant to go out into the world and touch as many people as they can.
Yeah. Do you like fish sticks?
I do, as a matter of fact.
What are you, a gay fish? That's a South Park joke that was stolen by Carlos Mencia and Kanye West.
I've always been kind of a Morden's guy myself.
So visit our friends, visit our sponsors. Make sure you like and subscribe to what we got going on podcast-wise. We're available on Apple. We're available on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher. FightTV.com are great friends of the program here as well. Wherever you can download a podcast, you can download PWR today. Matthew, we got a lot to talk about today.
We do, because this is the big night in wrestling, Wednesday nights. We got a lot to preview and something to recap too from last night.
Yeah, we got to start doing a little recaps. Tuesdays, have wrestling on them, and we just weren't talking about it. We were watching, but we weren't talking about it. But, Wednesday mornings, we got a lot to do. Let's talk first about Impact Wrestling. They had a big show last night. Again, they had the AEW World Champion on there, Kenny Omega. They had his buddy, Don Callis, who's the VP of Impact Wrestling. In the main event, it was Machine Gun, who brought back the Machine Gun name, Machine Gun, Carl Anderson, getting the victory. And Rich Swann didn't like how he won, was attacked by Rich Swann, technically. And then Carl Anderson goes off on him. Here comes the Motor City Machine Guns. Here comes good brother Luke Gallows. Here comes Rich Swann to knock him out. And here comes Kenny Omega. And, why not make a 6-man tag for the pay-per-view next month? Impact Wrestling, Hard to Kill. It's going to be AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, Machine Gun Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. The Bullet Club is back, boys and girls, taking on the 6-man tag of the Motor City Machine Guns and Rich Swann. That's a big pay-per-view event, and it's happening in Impact.
And it's not just us calling it the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club name was actually used and spoken tonight. I think that's a void that has not been filled. I mean, since you've had the bulk of those guys
wasn't here, it the club in WWE?
Yes. Well, and you did not get that alignment initially. You still had Anderson and Gallows and AJ doing their own thing.
Well, and Finn as well.
Yeah, and and when it finally got together, because you don't want to say Bullet on WWE TV, it was the club, and it sounded absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
it you'd have been better off with the buddies, the pals, anything besides the club. You have not had a proper version of the Bullet Club in the U.S. really, since you've had all these guys over here. So good for them to realizing that that's something that it's within their power to do. And as many times as the WWE dropped the ball on that, you're at the very least going to get some variation, going to get some incarnation of that by that name over here.
Let's also talk about another paid spot from Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone from AEW on Impact TV. This one was pretty snarky, and I actually thought it was kind of funny. Hey, you want to teach me a wrestling lesson? Well, I'll tell you what, Don, why don't you come to AEW tomorrow, and I'll teach you a lesson. Tony Schiavone said he asked his smart TV to find Access TV, and the TV responded, why? It was a little, there was a couple little digs in there, that and asking Kaz and Daniels what it was like when Impact actually had fans and people cared about them, and they said no, we don't remember.
As we're talking about what can happen with this talent exchange and this working relationship, last week we were projecting about how great it would make the aesthetic of Impact if they could get in Daly's place. I still think that holds true. Tonight, I think something else they could do that would make this a much more must-see television show. Get Schiavone over there as a heel commentator. Get us some Schiavone in the mix, because right now you've got the team of Madison Rayne and Josh Matthews, real life married couple calling this remotely, and you don't have that in the booth announcing personality like you would have with the Schiavone, or like you would have with even some type of heel commentator from the other side. I think that would make such an interesting dynamic, and you have those two having to explain what's going on in Impact to the viewer. I think you're going to have a lot of people that have not been paying attention to Impact that are now going to come over, have that AEW personality come over with them, and use that as your recap of bringing the audience up to speed. Bring the announcer up to speed. Have him or her learn and grow and understand what they're seeing.
The only concern I have is that it becomes a sideshow and it takes away from what's going on in the ring.
Yeah.
Because when Eric Bischoff and the NWO were doing it, it was too much.
Yeah. The only thing with that is you watch the recaps and you watch what they are bookending the programs with. The intro, and Impact had a special event on their TNA Plus, I believe is the name of it, their network this weekend.
Right.
That actually took a back seat in the opening to the Omega interaction from last week, and the Omega interaction closed the show. So they're putting all their chips on that, and it can potentially take it away. But I think that formula they've got now with the AEW talent, I think that's what's at the top of their card.
This also meshes pretty well, I think, with them having Hard to Kill in January, because AEW's pay-per-view, Revolution, did I say it right? Why do I feel like Revolution's not the right one? Yeah, it's AEW Revolution. But that's a February pay-per-view. So I'm willing to bet in the February pay-per-view from AEW, we get some Impact Wrestling talent on their card.
I think it's beneficial for both parties at this point. I think it's at the very least it's got me interested in.
It's got us talking about it.
Yeah, it's got us talking about Impact for the first time in how long, and it's just the opportunities exist now with the non-WWE companies for them to work together and give the fans a true semi-real feeling invasion angle. I mean, it's the companies are working together.
To be honest, the last time we talked about Impact was Matt Hardy and Broken Hardy. That was the last time we talked about Impact.
Wow, my goodness, and that's been years ago now.
Years, because I mean, Matt Hardy in WWE was a few years ago. Okay, so that's Impact. That's what's happened. Let's talk about what's coming up tonight on AEW, because we were just talking AEW. Here's the matches that they got going on right now. Oh, my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 7-on-7, 14-man tag team match. It's the Inner Circle, all 7 of them, taking on Best Friends, Top Flight, Varsity Blondes, and Brandon Cutler. Matthew, what the hell?
What are the odds that there's not a spot in this match where somebody jumps off a turnbuckle or a ring apron and multiple people catch them? Right. What is the percentage that does not happen?
How many times? Let's set an over-under on that, because I think, Matthew, that it's going to happen. But how many times do we get that spot?
I don't think we're going to get it many times, but I think when it does happen with that amount of talent out there, it's going to be more than one person jumping. So I think you're going to have one spot, but you're going to have multiple people projecting themselves onto the crowd.
Yeah.
So they fall. I don't think they fall down and get right back up. I think it happens on opposite sides of the ring.
Okay. All right. But I mean, for the love of God, I love watching AEW. I really do look forward to watching it. I'm dreading this match. I am dreading it.
When they ran down the card tonight on Impact, I mean, if you
on the
were
infomercial,
not, on the infomercial, if you were not an avid AEW wrestler or avid AEW viewer, they really can do a lot to sell the show, to be quite honest. Besides Sting.
Yeah, Sting will be on the program tonight. Also, Kenny Omega is going to go one-on-one with the bad boy Joey Janela. And if Joey gets a win, he gets a shot at Kenny Omega for the AEW championship.
Yeah, and this last year, I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but I believe it was on Dark. Janela and Omega had a very intense, hardcore, lights out match that got a lot of people talking, and I think that's a recap of that, or a redo part 2. The sequel is what a lot of people are expecting tonight.
Okay, another tag team match. You would think with 14 men, we wouldn't have enough talent to do another tag. Oh, we got a 6-man tag as well. A 14-man tag and a 6-man tag. God damn it.
We're gonna have a total of 20 men combined in a tag team tonight.
Hangman Adam Page is hanging out. I'm just broken up over it. Hangman Adam Page is hanging out with the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and they're going to take on Matt Hardy and Private Party, because there ain't no party like a Matt Hard party, because the Matt Hard party don't stop.
How many times do you think those tag ropes are going to have to be serviced after this episode?
Oh, wait. We've got one more. The Acclaimed, brand new team in AEW, taking on SCU, Daniels and Kaz.
Wasn't Tag Team Appreciation Night like several months back?
Right. And all we got
Tag
was
Team Appreciation Night Part 2.
My God, man.
You need to put 2 rings together like you had at War Games just so you can fit everybody.
It's like a Royal Rumble, but everybody stays outside the ring and just comes in when they're tagged in.
Oh my goodness! Can we get like a spot where they're going for the hot tag, and where you got one guy beating the turnbuckle, you just got the whole team.
How do you decide who the hell you're gonna tag? There's 6 people there. That's even more than Survivor Series.
My goodness. Yeah, this is gonna be something.
God, I'm sorry for swearing, but what the hell? Oh, and Cody's going to take on Angelico, who is a member of a tag team, but it's going to be a singles match.
Right.
Because nobody wants to tag with Cody.
I mean, typically when you see a card, you've got a little variety, a little something for everybody, but this is a freaking, as Teddy Long would say, this is a straight up tag team card, I guess.
Wow. Yeah, it's a Teddy Long special. That's what we're calling it. Holla, holla. Let's talk NXT. Kyle O'Reilly to battle Pete Dunne for the NXT title opportunity at New Year's Evil against Finn Balor. Who's coming out on top on that one? Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly.
Are we really going O'Reilly Balor again? That's the question. I mean, it was a fantastic match, but you've also got the ramifications of Balor being out for, a month. Man.
Yeah, with a cracked jaw, right?
Yeah, I think there's interest there in a rematch, but I think NXT's got to do a little something different for variety. So I see Dunn coming out on top here.
Okay. Carrie Cross is going to be working again. He'll be back in action for the first time in months tonight on NXT as well. What do you expect out of Carrie Cross?
Little bit surprised that we're immediately taking Cross out of the main event picture. It looks like, we had kind of him teased a little bit last week. And then when he did appear, it was taking out Damian Priest. So we are, as a lot of people thought, not going immediately into Cross.
You should be going back to Balor to go get his belt.
Yeah. To determine. And that felt like a little bit of a letdown, to be quite honest, because that was your champion right there. And that is the story that is, that's left unsettled. We're going to get it.
Karrion Kross was going to hold that belt for months.
Yeah. It seems like a step back for him. And because that seemed to be the plan, and he seemed like he was going to be a dominant champion, the whole Balor thing seemed like, okay, what's our plan B at this moment? Little bit disappointed he's not immediately back up to the main event picture. And it looks like the program with him and Priest, I assume he comes out on top there, but it was exciting because, relatively new guy with a very strong push and
very strong gimmick as well. Very believable.
Yeah. So I imagine we'll get that. Maybe that's what, but you said that this is going to determine the number one contender for their next special event. So
New Year's Evil.
Oh my goodness. What that would be. Are they saving Balor Cross for whatever they do around Mania? Are we drawing it out
around
that
Rumble,
far?
maybe?
Yeah, but if they're doing their event, their event January-ish or so, I assume that's gonna be that month's event. So I don't know.
I don't know either. Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm going back at it again in a grudge match. This has got to be Rhea Ripley going through her.
One would think.
Or do they hide the fact that Rhea Ripley is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble and let Toni Storm get over?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because nobody seems to be booked very strong in that women's division right now. Not that it's bad, but there does not seem to be that decisive person that they are pushing outside of the champion. And so this is much, much tougher to call because I thought we were going to come up on another Rhea Ripley title reign. We didn't get that a few weeks ago. So I see Rhea Ripley. My concern is that is that if you keep having Rhea Ripley lose, she kind of becomes like a Bray Wyatt was several years ago, or somebody that you really feel like you've got the strong gimmick, but you don't necessarily have to put over in a victorious position consistently. I think she's going to come out on top, but I still think we're going to see her elevate to the main roster in the first quarter of 2021.
Okay. And then Leon Ruff is going to team with Kushida to take on Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory, the man behind the Scream mask.
Yeah, I think Gargano's got a little stable right now, and I expect to see these guys come out on top and for that group to get a further push.
Well, that was a crisp and clean 20 minutes. We talked about a lot. We talked about Impact. We talked about AEW, and we talked about NXT and, the 17-man tag matches that are happening on AEW tonight. But, hey, they'll find a way to make it entertaining. So, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning with Damian Nelson. So long, everyone.